Yes, in today's class, we will proceed ahead what we had done in the last class. So, in the last class, we have well defined what is test. Like I have been explained that there means ultimate goal of psychological testing is to know basically human behavior in quantifying manner. So that's we have already discussed the meaning of psychometrics or psychological test. After that, we have already discussed the different types of test name. Like first, I explained the test according to administration, according to the natures, according to that themes, and so many things are there. So we will move ahead to understand that remaining portions of it in detail version. We will do today that. So here I want to just say to you that if you are in the class, just open your notes, class notes, because I noticed sometimes the students were not aware about the class notes. And what about in my class? Only you can do in that conditions whenever you have already my printed materials. Like so here we are going to discuss that notes, even that few things in new in the class. So, so fix the heading. First thing is uh, according to administration. According to administration. Administration. According to administration. So, according to administration, there is basically two types of tests. One is individual test. One is individual test. And what is individual test? I hope name suggested well. Means when we want to measure the any individual's abilities, any individual's ability. Means when we want to measure, when want to measure any individual's ability, right? Directly any individual's ability. As I told many times, psychology is a subject of individual rather than groups. So, if psychologists will prefer more about the measurement of individual ability, so it means they are justifying with the psychology. इन शॉर्ट आई वांट टू से कि अगर साइकोलॉजिस्ट इस बात को प्रेफर कर रहे हैं कि वो इंडिविजुअल एबिलिटीज को मेजर करेंगे सो इट मींस दे आर जस्टिफाइंग विद साइकोलॉजी राइट सो इंडिविजुअल एबिलिटीज फर्स्ट थिंग which abilities कौन सी abilities as I mentioned in the last class the name of various abilities are there like here is intelligence, creativity, and then is personality, values, interests, aptitudes, attitudes. All these values we measures, right? For the nature of these value, these individual abilities, we have a different types of intelligence. We have a different types of creativity. We have different type of personality tests are there. So while you're writing mails, if they ask, so you can give some example of it. Like individual abilities measurement test is what individuals tests are there. First of all, we will move in the section of intelligence. So in intelligence, you can give some example of individual test Like in intelligence, there is a SB test. SB means Simon Binet test. Other is Wessler test. WAIS. Other test is like RPM test. Other is, it means all these you can example, right? So these tests are used for individuals for the measurement of intelligence. Right? Even you can measure some or more example like KABC test. So these are individual test of intelligence. Similarly, the individual test of creativity, individual test of creativity are also given at there. There are the certain individual test of creativity, like you can take the first example at here. The first example of creativity, you can take TTCT test. Full form is Torrance Test of Creativity, right? So this is again individual test, right? So even you can take the other example of, right, like here is a RAT test, RAT. What is the RAT? Remote Association Test, right? Another example of personality individual test, personality individual test. Like here is lot of inventories. Example MMPI inventory, CPI. Other is the EPQ. EPQ is again inventory which measures any individual's abilities. I hope getting my points. So all these are, even you can take other example, aptitude is also. So I want to say only one thing, that if suppose exam में ऐसे पूछा जाए कि psychology is a subject of individual, even you can note down this question. Psychology is a subject of individual. Note Sasi, right? Psychology is a subject of individual, right? And psychologists try to measure individuals' abilities. Try to measure individual abilities. Justify this statement. Right? Justify this statement. Note down as a question. Note down. Right? Psychology is a subject of individuals. For better understanding, I'm modifying your question. For better understanding of individual, psychologists use psychological test. Right? Justify this statement. How will justify? You will justify with the help of some example. Like here, psychologists are measuring our intelligence ability, creativity ability, personality ability, aptitude. All these abilities measured by certain tests. Getting? So I want to say here there are the certain tests which helps to measure any individual's ability. Getting my points? So even you can mention more tests of, like this attitude test, attitude scaling, like Likert scaling, semantic scaling, Bogart's scaling. Bogart's even social scaling is there. So all these scales were used for the measurement of any individual's abilities. Means psychologists try to measure any individual's ability. So question is which ability? I told you which ability, by which test. Then why they used to test individual ability? Why? What is the reason? Yeah, because psychologists want to study this individual ability. If they will understand individuals, they will be more reliable. For the enhancement of reliability, they use what? Reliability. They use what? This individuals. Because, right? And other is validity, as I told all these words. So why? For the objectivity, because these are more objective. And where they use. Next question is what? So you can mention more here, right? And where they use these tests means individual tests are used in which setting? Right? These tests used in mainly clinical setting, right? Clinical setting, and these tests used into mainly school setting. That counseling के लिए भी होता है. That counseling here is the counseling के लिए भी होता है. That we use for the counseling.
Sir, rehabilitation centers also.
Yeah. In the rehabilitations they use also. Rehabilitation center, there they use also what? These tests. For the recruitments. Recruitments, that is at the group also is possible. As I told yesterday, according to administration, how many types of tests? Two. Individuals as well as group tests are. Getting? So if we are using, means question is why we are using individual tests? Because of these reasons, where we use all these reasons, even you can suggest more example, right? And which test we are using? As I mentioned, all the name of individual tests. Getting? So you can note down few more things in your copy. If you want, you can note down few more things in your copy. Like individual test administered to one person at a one time. Individual test administered at administered to one person. Administered to one person at a one time. Getting my points? Next is that what are advantages of it? While we are doing individual test, what are advantages of it? There are the several advantages. Number one, we can we can do comprehensive investigation. Why do you apply this test? What are advantages of it? What are advantages? First, we can get comprehensive understanding. Comprehensive understanding of any individuals. Comprehensive understanding के लिए this is good for us. Other is this is used where norms where is cultural diversity, right? It is used. Other advantage, so much culturally diverse peoples are there, so in that case individual assessment are there. Like UPSC also do our individual assessment as well as group assessment. Group testing भी करते हैं और individual testing both done by UPSC.
It is used to identify cultural assessment.
Cultural diverse in situation. It is used to assess in case of cultural diversity or the norms differences लिख दो. It means whenever there is a lot of cultured people are there, whenever different norms people are there, at that times it is not possible to conduct a single test. So what we need to do at that time? Getting my points?
Yes.
So because single norms cannot be applied. If there is a 5-year boy, other is a 18-year boy, other is a 54-year person, in that case single test will be not applicable. So we will apply any individual test to assess their abilities. Getting my points? So this is beneficial when, and there is what are disadvantages? What are disadvantages of? Only two is sufficient. Right? What are disadvantages of individual tests? First thing, it is time consuming. Like if anyone doing in clinic, it will take times. And if anyone is doing same test into schools and hospital, it will take time. Because they are interacting one by one, right? At least if you are doing any psychological test, ideally it may take 45 to 60 minutes. The ideal test of any psychological test is what? 45 minutes to 60 minutes minimum ideal time. So if you are paying at least 60 minutes to a one student in a day, how much you can do? Maximum to 10 to 15 in a one working hours. Maximum if you will do 15 hours working. Right? So that this is the first drawback. It is time consuming. If anything is time consuming, automatically its cost will be high. It is costly. Note down, it is costly. And it is labor intensive. Third point, it is costly. Second point is costly. And third is it is labor intensive. Means it requires lot of efforts. Getting?
And there can be malpractices.
There can be. Why? How it is malpractices?
So if the questionnaire or interview is of the same culture or the same background, ethnic background of this.
So biasness may be possible.
Yes, bias. Okay.
Biasness is possible, but you cannot write in any ideal also. Biasness is not a drawback of it's the person subjective. Then its reliability will decrease, right? Right. Next test is group test. Next test, fix the heading, group test. So as I mentioned here is first test, individual test. Similarly, we'll write B part, that is group test. So what is group test? The test which we conduct, administer. The test which we administer to more than one individual at a time. So that is individual test. So if I want to mention the name, if I want to tell the names of any intelligence test, can you tell me the name of any intelligence test which we conduct into basically all the groups? Yeah, there is lots. Example, alpha beta test. Alpha beta test. This test was made at the time of Second World War or World War II in America for the recruitment of armies, for the recruitment of army personnels. Getting the point? So this test we conduct especially on the groups. Other test is DAP test. DAP test even you can do also at single, but we can do also group also. DAP means draw a person test. DAP test made by Budenov, and that test basically we can conduct into groups also. Because I will provide you paper and I ask to you to draw particular drawing, and we start to draw. After that drawings, I will collect the papers and I will assess them. So I can conduct on a group.
So the ideal time which you have told that we take to conduct a psychological test. So उसमें result का भी part आता है?
Yeah, interpretation. That is called interpretation. Yeah. every test have their interpretations.
So the time also includes the interpretation time.
Interpretations times also.
The test time and the interpretation.
Entire testing process is approximate 45 to 60 minutes. Right? Other is the intelligence test, and some of them here is also personality test. Personality test is here. A personality test like TAT. What is the full form of TAT? Thematic apperception test. This is made by Henry Murray. Right? Other is CAT, child apperception test. Right? So all these tests we can conduct, especially on a group of people. Right? So similarly, there is some other test which we conduct onto like aptitude test, color kill aptitude test, right? Color kill is a specific engineering aptitude test we can conduct to the group of people. Even civil service exam, civil service PT and mains exam is also what? Group test. Group test means when we can conduct the test more than one people at a, yeah, more than an individuals, any one individual. So that is group test. Like all our engineering, medical, NEET, CAT, MAT, SAT, all the exams are basically group test.
Paper and pencil.
That we can also. Paper and pencil test we are doing, we can provide everyone paper, pencil and so many. Getting? So if we are conducting any test to a group, so that is. So if anybody asks you what are the advantages of the group test, Acha, where we conduct, why is same reason? Where we conduct these tests, we conduct into academic setting. Note down this a group test we conduct into academic setting for the organizational setting. Organizational means for the recruitment of personals. Academic settings for the recruitment of personnel, we do this type of test. Other we can use to any other settings. You can do sport setting also, right? It is also possible to conduct any other type of assessment, such as musical assessment, such as any writing assessment, means at the mass level that जहाँ पर gathering होता है. So that what are the advantages of the group test? Note down first advantage. It is economical. Why it is economical? Because we can conduct this test at a large scale. So our time will be saved and even money will save. Time is also money. And it is time effective test. Labor effective. First advantage, economical, time effective, labor effective. Labor effective is there. Time effective, labor effective. Other advantage of this test, and that norms are easily available. Norms are easily available. Norms because if we are conducting this test, we will create certain norms. Whereas in individual test, it is difficult to create norms.
These norms vary all of the people.
Yeah, these norms for the all over the people. So that it is Good. Getting? Other is other benefit of this test mention drawbacks. I think sufficient is this, right? What are the other drawbacks? Disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of this test? First is there partial problem that that the problems of rulers and urban. Note down in detail this one, because group test conducted by sometimes some organizations such as NEET, even it is very controversial test, right? UPSC CSAT is also controversial because of, right? So first is spatial problem. Spatial problem is problems of location. Some people, those who belong to rural area, they have a different cultures, and who belong to urban, obviously culture will be different. In that case, if we are applying both tests, दोनों के ऊपर हम एक ही टेस्ट अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, so it is very difficult to watch.
But UPSC into centers for prelims and only 21 centers for mains. Answer right. It is different.
Why it is so? Because of filtration is very high. But I am telling you here one important point.
Sir, elections also comes under this.
Elections also comes. Election is not a test. Location
problem. Organization all over India. Election commission.
Election commission works according to state wise. So that initially I am telling you here why we cannot conduct any test large scale. Yeah, what if we will conduct, what will we draw? First drawback is, I hope you know well, that is link place problem. Like, because suppose you are living in hilly area, you are living in such certain remote area where suppose internet accessibility is not good, and you are taking to online any test, so I think there will be difficult. This is the first drawback. Second drawback is that rural and urban drawbacks is also, because rural peoples and urban, that they have a different cultures, they have different values, so it also creates certain time problems. Language problem is also, like one of the other drawback, language problem. Yeah, because if you are going to conduct any test that is at the group level, but in the group, if the diverse peoples are living, so how you will manage in that situation? It is also a threat for us. Getting? So language issue is also one of the major issues. Other is different stream peoples are there, different backgrounds peoples are. Background is also a drawback. Right? Some of them are engineering backgrounds, some of them medical backgrounds, some of them humanities backgrounds. So that if our paper is toward technicality, it will be biased for the technical students, technical learner. But if it is non-technical, getting my points? So the biasness comes easily in the test. Other is other drawbacks, intensive examinations of individual. Intensive examination of an individual is not possible. Why we cannot do intensive examination? Why we cannot do intensive examination? Means it is not a depth method. Individual assessment is basically depth method. Right? But what about the group test? It is conducting at a large scale, and there may be also some extraneous influences are also there, because we are conducting tests on the large scale. So some of the student may cheat right there. Some of them can do frauds. We can cheatings and so many things are there. It is possible in the group test. So sometimes the actual candidates are out of the reach, right? Out of the system. Getting my price? Here is Ritim Singh. Ritim Singh is asking about which one is best, which book is better for the second paper. Ritam Singh, I think uh, I don't have any idea which book is better, because I do not prefer any guides and other material. Especially the entire my teaching is not based on guide. So whatever I will teach in the class, that will be best for you. And if you will take continuous class in us and even the psyche verse notes, and for detail you can go also to our my first class. There I mentioned which material will use for which unit. There I have been well explained, so you can use that. So that will be beneficial for you. So for second paper, no any specific material I will suggest. Even for every unit, you need to prepare by different sources. Each unit you need to prepare by different sources. Okay. So I hope got what is the difference between individual test and group test. Right? So write down one more questions. Right? Write down one more questions. Right, made a comparison between made a comparison between ये डिस्कस कर सकते हैं डिस्कस अ कंपैरिजन बिटवीन ग्रुप टेस्ट एंड individual test. So this question will help you to illustrate your fundamental understanding. But now you need to apply one more. You need to write one more question that will be applied on the group questions. Right? Note down. Right? India has set up a testing body. You know what is the full form? That testing body's name? NTA, National Testing Agency. Yeah, India has set up a national testing agency. Ready? For conducting various tests. For conducting various tests at group level. Right? What mentions some drawbacks. Mentions some drawback. Ritam Singh, फ्री में क्लास होगी आई थिंक फ्री में क्लास तो कोई नहीं देता होगा राइट नाउ माय बेसिक app is not working, so that I'm taking class online. And second papers class are available mainly into my app, right? So you can use, and for more detail you can just take our number. Here is number is 966775548. So you can get detail about our system, right? There is available all the things. So I'm telling you, suppose there is an NTA. NTA is a testing body. There is a lot of drawbacks, and even how it can be strengthened. Right? This is one of the interesting topic for us. एक हमारे लिए important point हो सकता है. This is important for us. And right now, right now, mention the next type of test. Mention the next type of test, that is according to the second part is what? Second part was what? Second part was according to rate of performance. According to the rate of performance, according to the rate of performance, note down there is some other types of tests. So on the basis of rate of performance, there are some other or different types of tests are there. Right, according to rate of performance. According to rate of performance. To rate of performance. Performance. According to rate of performance, there are basically two types of tests. One is speed test. Speed test. Other is what? Power test. So what is speed test? You know that this test mainly to check our, note down, this test check our psychomotor speed. Our psychomotor speed. Psychomotor speed means this test checks our psychomotor speed, means which means how fastly we can do, how fastly we can do any works, fastly how we can do any works, that is our psychomotor speed. And that's fastness of the works with accuracy is also important, because sometimes we can do works very fast, but accuracy is also important. Getting my points? Means
is also a part of reliability.
yeah, तभी तो reliable होगा ना. It means if you are doing any work fastly with maximum accuracy, minimum error, that is good for. Example, colloquial test. Colloquial test means when there is a typing test. Steno test is there. Have you do you know steno test? Those students who prepare for SSC. SSC means stenographers exams, or any colloquial, like Raju have very good typing speed. You have noticed it, right? He's typing very fast. Good. Very fast. Very fast. Even he will talk to you and type. He will also type. So that is, if we are going to recruit any clerk, any steno, so that is speed test. Right? So first point, note down. In a speed test, in a speed test, the presence of time factor means time is important factor. In a speed test, time is an important factor. Time is an important factor because there is given time limit. Because there is given time limit, so that time factor is important. And let's, in a speed test, degree of difficulty will increase. Degree of difficulty will increase as per requirement, but questions are mainly average difficult. But questions are mainly average difficult. Means the clerical test exams questions are not very difficult because they are not checking your thinking power. They are checking basically your speed. Huh. Speed without error. Next is there. Next is that scores are decided by finding the numbers of error, finding the numbers of answer, finding the numbers of item answered. I will repeat this. Scores are decided by finding the numbers of item answered correctly within a given time frameworks. Within a given time frameworks. Getting? So this is important. Next is, so here is time is important component, and item difficulty is not a very important component for the checking of our speeds. Example as you can mention clerical test. Color test is there, and stenography test, computer typing. Other is any graphological works. That is all that are basically speed tests. Just vice versa of it. Power test.
So we have the running race will it come under speed test?
Huh? We
We have running race or
running is psychomotor. Time that is for army and police. Time is matter. I think, but it is not a maybe test. As I mentioned, psychomotor test. You can say, but being a psychologist, it is not a matter. It is a topic of physical.
some motor is physical.
Motor is physical, but psycho is psychology. Like your writing is, like while you will write for the UPSC mains. So that is your
Running is pure physical.
physical. No, in our body, nothing is pure psychological, nothing is pure physical, because our body works combined version in a combined way. Means mind and body works together, said by Descartes. As I Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes said that there is a dualism and interactional dualism. Interactional dualism means when our body and mind will interact together, they can interact in two ways. One is the positive, other is the negative. If the body and mind will interact positively, that is called synergic interaction. And when our body and mind are interacting at inversely, means body is in the classroom and mind is at the dominoes center, so that is antagonistic interactions. So our body and mind have two types of interactions, synergic and antagonistic. So which one is better for us? Synergic interaction is better for us. Ready? So that is a next is power test.
So
Power
I'm
test.
not dealing with advantages and disadvantages.
If you want to write, what are the advantages of this test? If you want to write, note down the advantage of this test. This test help to understand colloquial efficacy. Helps to colloquial efficacy, and only these ones sufficient. No need to write, because what advantage you will write? Right now we are not using this test directly, and
Aptitude,
one thing is also colloquial tests also we conduct, means psychomotor test में speed test, ability to think rapidly, ability of thinking, simple words, rapid ability of नहीं, rapid नहीं, ability to think तो होगा ही नहीं ना. Other drawbacks, what are the drawbacks? Its the drawback is that while we are taking writings in while we are doing any writing test with speech, so those who are good in that, they can even perform better, but they are not good at thinking level. So this is drawback.
so once I attended an exam, I test.
हाँ.
So मेरे बाजू में bank employee was there. He is doing job in bank since 4 years. His typing speed was 40.
40, yeah.
Mine was 27.
So there is a big difference. So this is a advantage, means that is disadvantage is that those who practice a lot, उसका हो जाता है. Even he is not perfect in all other spheres, but we recruit to them. Next thing, next is power test. Power test. Power test means the test which we conduct for testing of any individual's underlying abilities. Underlying abilities. LY, underlying abilities. Here time factor is not included. Here time factor is not included. Here time factor is not included. Why time factor is not included? Because they are testing our thinking ability. Here is our thinkings and the best creativity its best example is means optional.
So, but there is also a time.
Only there is 5 questions are there. 10 questions for 10 marks. So it is equal to how much?
100 marks.
100. 6 questions for 15 marks. How much is it?
75, 90,
Hmm?
90,
90. And 3 questions for 20 marks.
60,
So how much is total?
150, 250.
So 250. So if you are not able to write 3 questions of for 20 marks within 3 hours and 10 questions. So initially their main target is they are selecting bureaucrats. And bureaucrats have very good thinking power with minimum error, with maximum accuracy. Getting my points? So if they are recruiting that bureaucrats, so definitely they want to check our ability of thinking, our creativity, our social emotional adjustment, means they are checking indirectly personality, our aptitudes, all these things they are checking. So the next thing, note down. So yes, time is not important. In the power test, time factor is not important. Time is not very big issue at there. Next is,
Sir, what it mean exactly lying abilities?
yeah,
Lying abilities.
like abilities,
Underlying.
underlying abilities in a given situation. Underlying abilities means whatever is they are testing, whatever they are given to think, that is our underlying abilities. Getting it? Like by the question paper, if they want to check your engineering thinking power, so that is underlying things. And if they want to check your civil service thinking power, civil servant abilities, so that is basically ready. So what are the advantages of it? The power test,
Assessment of thinking.
it helps to know the deepest level of the maximum ability of thinking, the best ability of thinking. Helps to know their inner self, right? Whatever is in their inner self that are easily that we can easily identify with the help of power test. Inner self. Getting? So what are the disadvantages of it? Power test sometime uh, because people have sufficient time to think, so that we are not able to the real abilities, other abilities also. Only the person who is good in that thinking ability, we can easily recruit to them.
So disadvantage,
डिसएडवांटेज में ये हो गया कि
उनको रिजर्वेशन मिल पाता है,
हाँ,
वो कम्पीट नहीं कर पाते इसलिए उनको रिजर्वेशन मिलता है.
note down one question, note down. I think by this example there is a question in my mind.
Yes.
Solve and note down question. Question is हाँ, service is speed test or power test. Speed test or power test, right? Give your arguments in support of your answer, right? In support of your answer in today's class, right? Even we need to move ahead.
Sir, sir,
Please.
sir, answer explains how, right?
As you know, most of answer of UPSC are based on the principle of Buddhism, midfold path. I hope this is a big hint for you. Midfold path means midfold path. You know that as a middle way. It is not totally a speed test and it is not totally a power test. Even they are checking both. They are checking with maximum accuracy of our thinking with a time limit frame. So what do we write? Civil service exam is
maximum ability test
Ha.
with a time frame.
Is a ability. Civil service exam is basically assessment. What you have written?
Ability test.
It is an ability test with maximum accuracy of thinking in a limited time frame.
Sir, in NCRT there is a word called situationism. So can I use it?
That you can use. You can use it.
Situationism is a power test.
Situation is both test. Situation is basically time as well as your power. Like there is a situation, suppose the truck is coming. So if you will take too much time, what will be there? I hope you know. So maximum accuracy or maximum accuracy is thinking with a very limited time. That is your situation. At the time of, so means suppose truck is coming, so you need to think with best accuracy, but there is a time limit. So civil service is that. Civil service is not only the test of power or not, it is a only test of our speed. It is a both. It means if your speed is so much slow, so you cannot attain the PT questions as well as mains also. Similarly, if your thinking power is very much shallow, not a deep, in that case, shallow thinking will not help you to reach the UPSC level also. Getting? So both are required for the public service. And why? The next part is justify your statement. You can tell that the number of questions which is selected by UPSC that have a good numbers of questions, because 100 questions are there. By the 100 questions, we can easily check your what? The thinking abilities. If there are the 4-5 questions are there, so maybe there is any chance for cutting off your, there is chance for not checking off your thinking ability properly. But if they are giving 100 questions, so definitely in 100 questions, 400 options are there. 400 alternatives are there. You can choose anyone else. So that is checking of your thinking ability, but there is a limit to hours, 60 minutes. So it means there is a approximate 40 seconds for one question. And 40 seconds is enough to think and solve the question. So that is enough. Right? Same as in mains also. Ready? So one point we can also add more things. How we can make a good civil service test in the question. No need to write this. Right. Next is according to behavioral domains measurement. So we are going to discuss next type of test. So I hope these two types of tests according to performance, according to administrations, you have cleared it. Next is next. According to the third point is according to the behavioral dimension measurement. Behavioral dimension measurement. Behavioral dimension measurement. Behavioral dimension measurement. First note down. First test is personality test. First is personality test. First is personality test. Even this will not ask in your UPSC that personality measurement, but according to me, you must have basic idea about the personality measurements. So what you will write? Personality measurement means the assessment of. Why you have not opened AC? AC open. You don't have remote. Where is the remote? Ah, okay. On करो. ठीक.
Should be there.
No, it is working. नहीं.
It is not working. Yeah.
I think in the last video, search it on the last video. Compressor, noun compressor. So personality measurement, लिखो. The measurement of our social and emotional adjustment. Measurement of our social and emotional adjustment. It is the measurement of.
There are measurement of personality, projective test, pencil paper test. Mentioned in the syllabus.
So no issue with that. Note down that personality measurement means the measurement of our social and emotional adjustment. Which is just a product of our psychophysical mechanism. What after you go down? Psychophysical means psychology and physiology. There was psychologist name was Eisenach. Eisenach said that personality means psychophysical mechanism. Psychophysical mechanism is whatever is the physical structure of any individual that is not only their personality. I'm repeating this line. Whatever any individual physical structure or their constitution, that is only not a personality. You have seen or you have noticed some person are very handsome. Even some females are very beautiful. So the only physical structure is not a personality. Psychology says Whatever psychology is fixed inside of that body, that handsomeness, that beautifulness, that is. So personality is just combinations of both. Like Dr. Kalam, external structure is not very good, but what is his personality? The great man. You know, the Kalam was great man. He's handsome. Whenever you will receive lot of respect. So definitely your आप भी हैंडसम हो जाएंगे खैर आप तो अभी से है ना तो वो हो जाएंगे बिकॉज ऑफ जब वो रिस्पेक्ट आती है ना every face start to glow which is respect getting lot of respect and love. So when you will become a public servant, if you will do good for some public, you will feel happy by inside. Your inner happiness will reflect in your face. The beauty of face is not matter. The color of face is not matter. The matter is what kind of satisfaction you are receiving from inside. That will be reflects in your face. Some faces are very good, but they are feeling anxieties. They are full of anxiety. वो उदास, like Devdas, they are very sad. Have you seen that? They are very sad. But some faces are like me, black. But what are they? Ajay? They are glowing. Just they are, they are glowing. Like take the example of anyone. Like they are glowing because they are feeling happy inside. तो आज हाँ रजनीकांत that is important. So personality is what? Personality means the measurement of social emotional adjustment of any psychological system. So there is three types of personality measurement. One is inventories. Inventories. Inventories means whose answer will provide yes or no or true or false. Are you feeling well? Yes or no. So it is what? Inventory. Are you married? So it is inventory. You? Huh? Very nice. So it is what? Inventory. Inventory's answer will be what? Yes or no.
Truth or dare?
Truth or false? True or false, both are there.
These are types of personality.
So this is the first type of personality test, inventory. And second is projectives. Projectives is there. And third is subjectives. Third is subjectives. So there are the three types of personality tools assessment. First is inventories, projectives, and subjectives. In inventory, the answers in the form of yes, no, or true and false. Means basically it is what? Objective assessment. And what about projectives? In the projectives, there you can express your feelings or views in your own words. Like how are you? So you can answer in one words, you can answer in details. So that is what? Projectives.
Or perspective?
Perspective, you can also express your perspective. Because there is a chance to speak whatever in your mind. But subjective, again, it is not based on any techniques like interview, observations, rating scales, all. So subjectives name first you note down. Like observation. It is observation.
So all non-experimental 31 tests.
So that observation interview. Like while you will go to face public service interview, that is a type of assessment.
Questionnaire.
Questionnaires. Other is a rating scale. And what about projectives? There are five types of projectives. First is association, association, completion, completion, construction, construction, choice and order. Other is expression. Expressive, we call them expressive. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
And association means like there is two association. Word association. Even this type of detail UPSC will never ask. Never ask. Because it is administrative test, but word association. Other is a Rosar test. Right? Rosar. Rosar test is it. That is a Herman Rosar test. Completion is here is the that is filling the blanks. Fill in the blank. Construction like TAT, CAT, RATC, right? So all these are basically construction. Choice and order means you have lot of choice and order. Expressive test like HTP, house tree person, and inventories are like MMPI, CPI, MCMI, EPQ, NeoPi, NeoPi. NeoPi. Other is bell adjustment inventory. Inventories. Other is 16PF. If you want to write the name of these, I'm ready to tell you. Like here is one is important for UPSC. Other is the five factor. Five factor. Even five factors people says make NeoPi. So MMPI full form you can know. Minnesota Multi-Axle Personality Inventory. Minnesota MANN Minnesota SOT. Minnesota Personality a multi-axial personality inventory. Axial personality inventory. Right? This was made by Hathaway and McKinley. McKinley. This was made by Hathaway and McKinley. McKinley. So, this according to this test, there are the 557 items are there. Like if you say how much item? 100 questions are there. There are the 400 items. So there are 557 items, and this test mainly conduct to checking the abnormalities. Right? This conduct means how much a person is abnormal. Right? So this test is mainly conduct to abnormality, and there are the 10 clinical scale. How much scale? 10 clinical scale are there. So there are the 10 clinical scale which we use to assess any individuals.
Is it a clinical test?
Yeah, it is a clinical test, and it is individual test.
Rehabilitation center?
Rehabilitation also. It is used in rehabilitation because emotional adjustment is also big problem in rehabilitation center. Otherwise,
CPT?
CPT not CPI, California Personality Inventory. Just write one line. This is used to check the normal adjustment of an individual. Even you can shortly write all the about all the tests. What you can write about all the tests? That the most of personality inventories, projective or tests are used to check their abnormal behavior as well as normal behavior. Right? So it is used to check normal behavior and abnormal also, both. By using of it, we check both normalcy of the any individuals and abnormalcy of any individuals. Means how person is normal. Like that CPI is basically used to adjustment of an individual. So don't you do not need to go in detail of all this. But you will shortly write most of the inventories, projective and subjectives are used to assess the any individual's normal abnormals. If you
Can give one word for all?
yeah, MLPI and MCMI, million clinical multi-excel inventory. Million clinical multi-excel inventory. EPQ made by Eisnig, it is based on biological assessment. It is also checking our abnormal adjustment. A reason of abnormalcy basically we dictate or identify with the MCMI. Other is here is adjustment inventory. It is also used to assess what adjustment inventory. 16PF it also checks our adaptability. Ready? Do not need to go in detail on.
So neo-RNI?
NeoPi made by basically Paul Costa and McRae. And Paul Costa and McRae has made this test to check the any individual's adjustment. Based
Social and emotional.
basic word, social and emotional adjustment of an individuals. If we are checking that is. So getting. So what are the advantages of personality assessment? This helps to identify maladaptive behaviors. This helps to identify. You need to write what are the benefits of personality assessment. This helps to identify maladaptive behaviors, right? Even we can correct the maladaptness behaviors को identify करने में help कर रहा है. First benefit of the this test is we can use to identify the anyone who is maladaptive. If someone is maladaptive personality, definitely we can correct. Even it is used to identify personality disorders also. There are the different type of personality disorders. Like there is a schizoid personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder. Schizoid, you know that जो लोग बहुत झक्के टाइप के होते हैं, छोटी छोटी बात they can even fight and defeat. They can even fight over a very small topic, very small things, because उनके माइंड में क्या चलता है, assertiveness. He's giving some example, I guess. They are very centric, right? If they vegetable shop, then even they can fight for his dhania like or coriander and chili. भैया दे दो ना, अरे क्या हो जाएगा ना. अपनी बात के ऊपर रखना पसंद.
Sir, how do we assess using inventories or?
Yeah, all these inventories projectives are used to assess all these abilities. And one of the interesting thing I have noticed in these panel, they are basically, jealous is also at there. They have very jealous type of people. Other is a histrionic type of personality. The person who talks too much about sexuality and thinks about it, that is histrionic personality. Bipolar disorders, bipolar personality is there. Good at the one moment, another is bad at the other moment. Like I was working with a director in 2015 like that. So even if I went late, just 5 minutes, 7 minutes, he start to cry me. He start to cry, sir, you don't know the importance of time. Sorry, sir. ऐसे लगता था कि our value is less than a rickshaw puller. वैसे डर. After the class, when we come back, sir, please eat something. Without taking something, I will not let you. So this is our nature. So means the person who is basically from which category? Schizotype. Schizotype or bipolar, histrionic, antisocial personality is there. Antisocial. Anti not that anti you are talking about. Antisocial. Antisocial. What is antisocial? Against the society. So all that personality disorders can be dictated with the help of, can be identified with the help of.
Naxalism, anti-social.
They, if you, you can say that it is anti-social. Even they are mostly anti-government because they do not like to exploit the ordinary peoples. They basically fight against the government policy and government security forces, right? Otherwise, they, I think, not scolding or hitting or any type of fighting to the normal people. Is it? Right? Next thing.
Sir, one question.
Please.
I feel it is very important. Sir, being a civil servant,
Hmm.
sir, how do I identify that schizotype personality with any of the tests, easiest tests, so that if instantly I can identify it?
I think here you are not going to here you are not studying the detail of any of the tests, because on the basis of previous paper analysis, I think I'm not going in detail. Getting? But if you have time, if you have self-study, so you can go in detail of it. But if you are asking the question, by when we are a civil servant, how we can identify schizotypal personality, that is best is 16 PF. 16 PF is basically a scale of the 15 16 question, right? And there is two group. If you are normal, like you are normal, you will be in the middle. But if you are in, you have any abnormality, you will go into the extreme case, other into the lowest case. So both is possible. So by that we can easily identify if you have idea of that 16 scale. Ready?
Yes, sir.
So this is next thing is that is how. So what are the other advantages of personality assessment? It helps to identify disorders, right? It helps to take decision also, right? Right now, community at the community level, personality disorders is increasing. This is my personal assessment. This is not any official assessment, because if we see clearly, it is the emotions which is endorsed by media or just put by media. So all that are basically very very detracting for the nations. Because they क्या बनाना चाह रहे हैं? What actually want from this country? They are mainly focusing on communalism. They are focusing on one-sided news. They are not doing balance. They are not putting balanced opinion, so that our childs, our students become also, even our family members also become imbalanced by social, by emotions. Balance of the news is very important, right? Because if you are not balancing, you are just representing any one groups of people is as a culprit. Other people, they are just coming from the heaven, they haven't done any mistake in their life. If you are representing like such, I think it is not good. I'm against of it. I'm not supporting even any party and politics. Even I didn't like to vote. मुझे पसंद नहीं है, मैं कभी करता भी नहीं वोट. This is my drawback. Even it is good not
You don't go for
voting. I think I have once or twice I have given the vote. Otherwise, because even it is important for us. But मुझे पसंद है. What is my choice? That is not mine. My choice is my class. The important thing, so that lot of disorders can be, right? और बहुत अच्छे से डिसीजन लेने में भी पर्सनैलिटी समझने से हेल्प मिलता है, right? And you can also identify some anti-social elements with their personality test. You can identify some anti-social elements. Right? What are their disadvantages? The first disadvantage of the test, first disadvantage of this test, these tests are less scientific, less scientific. I mean, they do not measure accurate human ability, means lack of accuracy. Means this is a drawback. It's totally all tests are not accurate, right? And even sometimes a few things are out of the assessment. Means few things in our society which is basically not which are not assessed by these personality tests. And right now, human cognition is increasing. Human is very smart and very smart. In that case, उसका assess करना बहुत complicated. If we are assessing any good cognitive persons, he can easily speak like. Even you have seen in the case of Talwar. Talwar murder case, like I hope you have heard this Nupur Talwar and Rajesh Talwar. Nupur murder case, that on the name of Nupur there is a movie also. So in that case also, it was very difficult to assess the personality who is very intelligent or any public personality. Not easy to identify with the help of these tests. This is a drawback. A drawback. But all these tests are helpful to understand human behavior in normal setting, in abnormal setting, but extreme setting not applicable. So I think this is sufficient for today's class, right? So we will discuss remaining things, that is intelligence assessment according to the base of on the basis of behavioral dimension in the next class. So thank you for the class.